Welcome to The Sound, KQAL FM's weekly behind-the-scenes look at Midwestern-made music. From writing and recording to distribution and promotion, The Sound is your source for new releases and exclusive interviews from Midwestern artists. Support for The Sound is made possible by a grant from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Rolling.
And I don't mind all the wheezing in between breaths from your chest.
Tonight on The Sound, we bring you the debut album, Auditory Pleasure Pods to Satisfy Your Lust for Nihilism from Swashbuckler. The Winona band is comprised of 4 members who would describe this album as a reflection of their own personal growth. They want listeners to experience a dimension like never before and immerse themselves in an auditory exploration of pleasure. I'm Brylee Harris. Stick around to hear more about Swashbuckler's debut album, Tonight on The Sound.
Chaos everywhere, despair, lack of air.
One, two, 3, 4.
Well, say here, what's that strange sensation? Boy, never felt such bad vibrations coming from the ground like what in tarnation? Well, folks think we got a worm invasion. Now, first I couldn't tell if I was seeing lies. I ain't seen nothing like this in my life. All of a sudden they fell from the sky. Worms raining down like 4th of July. We're all worms and we like earwax. We're all worms and we like earwax. We're all worms and we like earwax. We're all worms, we like earwax. So I grabbed my gun and ran for the barn, but they cornered me halfway through the yard and dragged me, I don't know, 20 yards off to some pit, slimy and warm. I struggled, kicked, clawed, and I bit, but the worms didn't seem to give it. Just when I thought I've had my last sip, aliens flew by and blew them to bits. We're all worms and we like earwax. We're all worms and we like earwax. We're all worms and we like earwax. We're all worms and we like country music. We are now broadcasting live from Hillman, Iowa, where alien worms are causing mass destruction and civil unrest. The crumpled remains of buildings lay strewn across the ground as large writhing creatures violently attack anything that comes near. Several people are missing, and evacuation efforts were abruptly interrupted as worms expelled from the ground and fell from the air. Nearby residents are advised to arm themselves and seek shelter in a fortified structure. Say, what's that up there in the window? It looks like I don't know, some sort of worm? Kinda looks slimy, oh God! Oh, this guy's coming through the window!
that was Earwax from Swashbuckler off of their first full-length album called Auditory Pleasure Pods to Satisfy Your Lust for Nihilism. And I'm here today with Swashbuckler. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
We're doing good.
So considering this was your debut album, would you be able to talk about what your entire process looked like when you were creating and developing the album?
Oh, it was very long. I wrote a lot of the songs, but I couldn't do it without the rest of the guys. We spent a lot of time in a particular house, and we met every Wednesday, and we jammed it out. I mean, we were having just a lot of fun. I guess these guys can elaborate.
Yeah, we started. The three of us were roommates, and he lived, a few blocks down the street. And we started out kind of just making tunes in one house. We started recording in that house, and then people moved. There was a pandemic. I lived on a farm for a long time, and we had to kind of reconvene, recollect ourselves, and eventually we got back to work and finished it in a few months over the last summer. So,
yeah, overall it took almost 2 years to get the whole thing done. I think we started October of 2019. That sounds about right. And it was a lot of fun. We were basically just making it at home. It was Jack, Louie, and I. We had a different drummer at the time named George, and a couple of our friends, Dante and Seamus, were helping us to record and mix it. So it was great. We would just come home from work at the end of the day and just jam in the living room, run song ideas. Started out by just like demoing, getting good takes, and then we would build off of those and just kind of layer it up and add more detail to the picture as time went on. And then things kind of shut down. We went into lockdown and nothing happened for like 9 months almost. You left town for a little while, and we just kind of
did the thing.
Did the thing that everybody did, which was nothing. Yeah, but I mean, like, we were still like moving forward in ways. I was writing a lot of stuff. You were building guitars. Louie was building guitars. And then over time, Tyler kind of came into the mix, became our new drummer over the pandemic, and slowly but surely it kind of got going again around December of like 21, 20?
Of 20.
20, right,
of 20.
So do you think like the pandemic like slowed it down a lot, or would it have taken that long? Probably just...
It would have taken longer without the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, just because you had so much like downtime?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. And I'm also very curious to know how you came up with the name for this album.
It was a joke that never went away.
Okay. So, like, what's the story behind it? Can you share that?
I wouldn't be surprised if we actually have a recording somewhere of when we came up with this, because we would record all of our practices, so we have hundreds of hours of just music, but also a lot of just riffing in between, a lot of funny banter, and I think we were just like coming up with joke titles, and we started out with
Lust for Nihilism. I remember distinctly, I came up, I was like, what if we called it Lust for Nihilism? Because it's like, I don't know. The whole concept is so absurd. We're like intergalactic space pirates from the 7th dimension. So it's already super absurd, meaningless, but then finding meaning in the meaninglessness. And it's like, that's kind of what nihilism is.
I think like the auditory pleasure pods came because we wanted like something that sounded a little spacey.
It was your idea, Connor. I remember you were like, auditory pleasure pods to satisfy your lust for nihilism.
Just ran with it ever since.
It's stuck.
It did stick. There were a few other ones we thought about breeding in the bananas for a while
because we were observing fruit flies that had infested some produce in our house.
Okay.
But it didn't have the same ring to it. So
we're thinking maybe a live EP or something.
Yeah,
but.
I was gonna say it could be the next one. All right, well, we're gonna hear another song from Auditory Pleasure Pods to satisfy your lust for nihilism. This is "Age of Man" by Swashbuckler.
1, 2, 1, 2.
been breathing in that carbon dust, working hard these days, but things have gotten out of hand. Times are getting strange. Pandemic rages, kids locked in cages, the power grid's falling apart. The radio screams full volume, it seems the days are getting dark. I've seen the errors of our ways, but we're all just trying to get by, looking for a solution but not willing to compromise. Well, I'm getting pretty tired of that shit. Do you think I could get some rest? Well, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but there ain't any good times left. Well, the age of man has come and gone. We've really this one up. Just a bunch of monkeys running around who think they're smarter than they really are. Well, you can count on good old entropy. Everything is bound to fall apart. Waiting on that chunk of cosmic dirt to give the planet a fresh new start. Some folks have seen some crazy stuff, been seeing lights in the sky. Could it be something is watching us or visiting at night? Have they seen the plumes of atomic smoke or our piles of plastic? Have we been deemed incompetent? Have the neighbors turned their backs? Oh, the age of man has come and gone. We've really this one up. Just a bunch of monkeys running around who think they're smarter than they really are. Well, you can count on good old entropy. Everything is bound to fall apart. Waiting on that chunk of cosmic dirt to give this planet a fresh new start. Guitar. Well, the age of man has come and gone. We've really this one up. Just a bunch of monkeys running around who think they're smarter than they really are. Well, you can count on good old entropy. Everything is bound to fall apart. Waiting on that chunk of cosmic dirt to give this planet a fresh new start. Waiting on that chunk of cosmic dirt to give this planet, yeah, a fresh new
That was Age of Man from Swashbuckler's debut album, Auditory Pleasure Pods to Satisfy Your Lust for Nihilism. And so what did your writing and recording process look like for this album? Was it different than anything you've done previously?
A lot of the songs, since I wrote them, I think the last song on the album, I've been writing for probably, since 2013, so 9 years. And a lot of it has been life experiences that I have been writing and just kind of like stuck in there, and I didn't do anything with, because you do other things while you're living, and you get kind of distracted, but eventually I bring them to the band and we started making real songs out of them. And in terms of recording them, we had our structures down, and we got Connor, who's just a huge just tone master. So he's always bringing these awesome ideas on how it should sound, how we should structure it. We have Jackson, who's the shepherd of Cosmic Gravy, so he adds that magical touch with his bass, just the the thumb. So I don't know. That's kind of the process. For that first one, you came in with
most of them pretty much done right off the bat. I think like so I'm just trying to remember, how long were you guys doing it before I joined in? Because it was you, George, and Jack first for a little while. About
3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months, and you had a couple songs at that point. I think you had Captain and Liver Rat.
Yeah, a couple of those first tracks off the album.
And then Dark Matter, I remember, came in a little bit later. I remember that was one you had like 3 riffs or something, and every week you'd come in and be like, oh, I got like this little extension for this song, and it would just kind of grow over the course of months.
Mostly what happens is somebody's like, I've got an idea, and then we all learn the idea, and then we'll play it over and over and over again until somebody comes up with a new idea, and then we do that on top of it. And so we'll have, I mean, like he said, we record all of our practices so that we can go back and find the good ideas in there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's kind of how it evolves. Is like, we'll have this idea, we'll play it over and over and over again until somebody comes up with something new, somebody comes up with something, and then we build on it. And there's a lot of weird garbage that does not get made.
Yeah, a lot of weird jams that go nowhere and joke songs that get left out. And even then, there's not like one process for everything. Like a couple of the later songs that we wrote, like Sauerkraut and Freshen Up, you pretty much structured Sauerkraut on your own, and then came in with that one. You recorded the bass first, and then we did everything else around that. And then Freshen Up existed for pretty much like the whole course of this band. You wrote it before Swash, actually, or was that because you wrote that during the Afflatus tour? So you were on tour with your other band, Afflatus. These guys are also in another band called Afflatus.
Okay.
Basically, swap me out with my friend Spencer, and you have another band completely.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty much like you had written Freshen Up while you were on tour with Afflatus, and we played it one way for a long time, about a year or so, and we were always kind of like a little sick of it. We were just like, there's a good song in this, but the way we were playing it was like this really weird like slow 6/4 thing that you couldn't really like dance to. You could kind of sway to it. It went on way too long. I think it had like 3 verses with a solo after everyone and this really loud noise section. It was just kind of not working. So we improvised a new one and got a new structure in one take.
One day I came in and I was really into this Billie Eilish song, and I was like, let's make this song.
I'm curious.
It wasn't My Future. It was the other single that she released before that album. But anyway, I was really into that Billie Eilish song, and I was like, let's make this song sound like that. And so we just did this like really like steady bass line, like and completely rewrote the song in like one day and recorded it, the whole thing in that day. I remember we had like rubber gloves on and we were like doing snaps and claps and snaps and claps, and yeah, it was really fun to like completely rewrite the song.
I guess it kind of leads into my next question, but are there ever any major challenges that come up when you're writing music?
No, I think the only challenges are our own personal challenges with that. I think we work pretty tight-knit. That happens when you have to coexist in a spaceship for a prolonged amount of time. But yeah, I think we work pretty cohesively.
We share Google calendars.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
I think the hardest part is just budgeting time, not necessarily because of playing music, but like working, going to school, like this guy just bought a house, like all of these things like that you have to do or kind of are part of living life, make it hard to like spend so long like working on something that's like artistic, because it's not necessarily a necessity, but we all want to be doing it. That's kind of why why they said like the pandemic actually really sped it up, is because a lot of us had a lot more time than we normally would have.
So you talked about kind of the story behind your album title. Are there any interesting stories behind any of the songs on this album?
I think absolutely.
All of them?
Well, most of them, I think. Some of them are, how do I put this? Like, I think Captain right off the album, that's a sort of a fantasy tale in a sense, But then some songs, the last song, like I was talking about, Zombie, I think there's a line in there where I say, if you want to save gas, go and burn your car. That was actually, I had bought a mandolin like something 6 or 7 years back, and it had a sticker on it that said the same thing.
Oh, you didn't buy that sticker?
Nope, I didn't buy the sticker.
I just assumed
It
you
was
had
in
bought that.
It was in there when it happened.
Right.
Oh, no
It was
way.
a homemade sticker someone had put on the case, and I was like, you got to sell me the sticker with the mandolin, or no deal. And anyways, we had taken that on this tour I'd went on with our other band, Deflatus, and lucky enough for us, our car burned down during
Exploded
the
on
tour.
the side of the road in
no.
Nebraska.
And so that sticker and that lyric really became like truth. Is like, and so you find a little deeper meaning. So that's sort of a nice story that's woven its way into it. I think the listeners will find a few cool Easter eggs on the album. There's a couple addresses that we've snuck in there and some other. So listen deeply. You might find some interesting stuff.
Just some references to like the houses that we've recorded in, and I think Tyler's cat Sahara makes a few appearances. $5 goes to anybody who can find her feature first. We have our friends, Jackson's girlfriend Haley makes an appearance on there as well. There's a lot of just like small little cameos with friends who were around. When we were making Earwax, there's a big gang vocal section during the chorus, and I just tried to get every single one of our friends that we could to just scream Earwax at the top of their lungs for it, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, this next song is titled Saturn, from Auditory Pleasure Pods to Satisfy Your Lust for Nihilism. That was Saturn from Swashbuckler's debut album, Auditory Pleasure Pods to Satisfy Your Lust for Nihilism. And getting kind of into like the more recording aspect of the album, where did you guys record this?
In our house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we, for a while, Tyler, Jackson, myself, and a few of our friends lived in a place called the Leisure Public House. And we recorded it in Dante's bedroom, pretty much. He just had a drum set kind of tucked into the corner with a small desk set up, and we just kind of hashed it all out there.
Yeah, so we lived upstairs, and he lived downstairs. So I remember, like, one day a week, we would all schlep our instruments, like, down the stairs, outside, around the corner, into the other house, like, set it up, and you know, try and get takes for a while. And then after we moved, we started working in our own living room.
Yeah,
so.
from about October 2019 to like March of 2020, we did it at the LPH, and then we moved to a new house that we call Franklin's Tower. And it's got a really big living room that's got a great live sound in it. So we just started doing everything there. But that didn't happen right away. It was a few months until Tyler got a bunch of recording equipment thanks to his cousin.
Yeah, I inherited it when he moved to Norway because I couldn't go with him. So then that really got it going, and then that's how I spent a lot of the pandemic and lockdown, was just learning how to do that stuff. And then Connor got in on it too. So then we started doing it ourselves. Like, I'm drumming, although I'm Swashbuckler's live drummer, I only drum on 3 of the songs, and those were just done at our house, just throughout the times.
Yeah, and that was probably the biggest learning curve during the pandemic, because everyone was trying to, you know, be socially mindful and distance themselves, and we weren't really sure how to just kind of like budget our time and, you know, make. We were trying to just kind of like make the house an environment that people could get together and feel safe, because it was still at a point where no one was sure like how quickly or easily you could get, you know, a virus or something like that. So we were all a little scared to hang out at first. But then once we got that capability of recording at home, we could just be like, all right, sweet, we can limit this to just the 4 of us now. Which I think we were all pretty cool with right off the bat.
Yeah, it was an excellent, DIY experience. You know, DIY till you die.
Yeah.
You know, or become smarter or something like that.
Yeah, it was a great learning experience.
DIY till you die, or have money.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So then where do you get most of your inspiration from?
Outer space.
Outer space.
Yeah,
good one.
Nature. Expanding our consciousness, and by that I mean like just our collective humanity. We're all here together on this planet, and we're all experiencing this thing called life together, whether we like it or not. And so I think there's a lot of takeaways from that. And you know, I'm personally reaching. I'm not going to disclose my age. I'm reaching a certain age, and so let me just say that people begin to feel certain things when they get to certain ages.
He's hitting puberty.
A certain age that rhymes with dirty.
Louis is 16.
But as far as like musical stuff,
yeah, I mean,
goes,
we all
like,
listen to a lot of different kinds of music.
Yeah,
we draw from a lot of different musical backgrounds. I mean, from like, I think Connor grew up listening to like Kiss and Rush.
For me, everything goes back to AC/DC. 100% of everything I play is just ripping off Angus Young. And yeah, guys like Rush, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, all the classics.
We went on a big we would like make dinner every week and listen to a new Radiohead album. So like that was a huge influence while we were making the record too.
The Beatles were a big one while we were making it. We did a Beatles marathon too, where we would listen to a different album of theirs every week. That definitely had a big part of it. Primus also. I think they're kind of like a spiritual influence in a way. I don't know if like musically necessarily, but I don't know. They just always seem to kind of hover over the band for some reason or another. We had a streak of like 3 shows where, without asking the venue, they would just start playing Primus after our set. I remember that one show. It was like Tommy the Cat. The next, it was My Name Is Mud. It was just like I think Jerry was a race car driver. Was the third one.
They're closed now, Tyler. But which bar was that? Because I remember this.
The Part Wolf, formerly the North.
Oh yeah. R.I.P.
That's a vivid memory. It's like Primus sucks. Yeah, we're inspired by a lot of different musical artists.
Sure.
So.
Well, next up, we're going to hear Freshen Up from Auditory Pleasure Pods to satisfy your lust for nihilism.
Pine trees standing next to me, riding through the storm. It's so hard to see. Tumbleweeds laying next to me, not a substitute for the girl of my dreams. Reaching out, touching far, screaming loud. Yeah, and I don't mind all the wheezing in between breaths from your chest. That is not what's keeping you up, 'cause there be cactus everywhere, stranger stairs, mountain air. Without it you will not freshen up, and I don't mind going deeper in between sets, no regrets. That is not what's keeping you up, 'cause there be chaos everywhere, despair, lack of air. Without it you will not freshen up, will not freshen up, will not freshen up. Yeah, will not freshen up, will not freshen up, will not freshen up. Big streams running next to me, running faster than me as far as the eye can see. No more tumbleweeds laying next to me. Seems like it has all changed. Turns out it's just a dream. Reaching out, touching far, screaming loud. Come with me, you and I jump off the levee. I don't mind all the wheezing in between breaths from your chest. That is not what's keeping you up, 'cause there be cactus everywhere, stranger stairs, mountain air. Without it you will not freshen up, and I don't mind going deeper in between sets, no regrets. That is not what's keeping you up, 'cause there be chaos everywhere, despair, lack of air. Without it you will not freshen up, will not freshen up, will not freshen up. Yeah, will not freshen up, will not freshen up, will not freshen up.
That was Freshen Up from Swashbuckler's debut album, Auditory Pleasure Pods to satisfy your lust for nihilism. What would you say the future holds for Swashbuckler? Like, do you have any plans for a tour or any more releases? Obviously, you just came out with this album, but...
The invasion and conquering of the entire galaxy.
Step 2.
Step one, album. Next step, everything else.
The natural progression.
Yeah. Every album comes with a microchip that embeds itself within your ear.
Watch out, Elon Musk. But yeah, we're busy writing a lot of new songs. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, we've been just demoing a lot of new ideas. Since the record came out, we've kind of shifted gears into just sharing a lot of new ideas with each other. We've been meeting up on a pretty regular basis to just record new stuff and just start building a stockpile of ideas. I think Jackson's contributed like 7 songs or so. Louis got 2 or 3 thrown in there. I've got like 5. Even Tyler's thrown in an idea.
I have 1. I was waiting for and Tyler. And then Tyler's Tyler.
and
Tyler's a drummer.
But that's the thing about Tyler. Like he's a great drummer is the thing, and that
you mean the best drummer.
Well, like that's the difference.
Please, I'm
like
but a man.
when a band has a good drummer, they're a good band. But when they have a great drummer, they're a classic band. So we have that upgrade thanks to you.
Thanks, man.
And I feel like you hear that, especially once you hit the another cool thing about the record, I think, is that the songs are kind of in the order that we recorded them in. That wasn't really intentional, but so like the first half of the record, it's Georgie drumming on, and then you come in around the second half, and there's definitely like a different flavor that comes in. I feel like it really gets a little more complicated. The grooves get a little bit more tailored to the song. You just have a lot of cool stuff like that. So that's been really cool. It's just to jam with this guy in the picture now and just see what he's coming up with for all these fresh new ideas, because some of them are kind of like a little more straightforward indie rock songs. Some of them are like kind of headbangers, and others are very just spacey psychedelic jam vehicles that go off in directions and explore like Fish or the Grateful Dead would.
Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of the direction we went later on, was the as we kind of got better and learned our instruments more. I mean, I started learning the bass to play in this band because Louis and George came up to me and they had said, "Hey, would you play bass in our band?" And I just played the guitar, and I was like, "Sure." So I bought a bass for $50 on Craigslist and started playing. But
that was it.
Yeah. It was $75, and then I got there and he carried it outside in a pillowcase, and he said, it was literally the first thing he said. He was like, "I said 75, but you can have it for 50. Like, he haggled himself down. And he was just this like big guy with like a big white mustache and like a long ponytail. I was like, "Okay, thanks, man." I appreciate it.
Probably listen to the Dead.
Yeah, it's a good guess. But yeah, I mean, we're playing a bunch of shows this summer.
Midwest Music Fest.
Yep.
That's coming
Really?
up.
Midwest
We're playing
Music
Midwest,
Fest.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Saturday,
Gotta plug it.
3:45 at Island City. Come and see us. Buy a walnut and a beer.
Put the walnut in your beer.
Yeah.
We're also playing a few shows this summer with our friends from Duluth, the new Salty Dogs.
Yep. We're actually going to be at Ed's in June, so keep your eyes out.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
love their shows.
mini tours, like we want to play more shows, I think. I mean, we haven't gotten any dates, but we'd like to, and get some good merch, We're working on getting physical copies of the CDs to sell, so we're really trying to do it.
Yeah, also trying to build up a little bit of an infrastructure to kind of support the touring, and like Jackson just said, trying to build up a little bit of a merch booth. CDs, posters. He's making some glow in the dark merchandise with some really cool epoxy.
Yep, I have a lot of things. I'm sort of a separate company, but it's sort of a large triangle, overarching. This
Not
band.
pyramid shaped.
Not pyramid shaped, inverted. But yeah, we want to bring lots of stuff to the experience. When you come to see Swashbuckler, we want you to come to an experience, so that you may experience new dimensions.
I love that. So speaking of like the merch and your album, where can people go to get that, or is it available yet? We
will have a website up pretty soon. It'll be www.galacticsyrup.com.
Okay.
And so you'll be able to find a whole page dedicated to Swashbuckler with our merch. In the meantime, the best place to get our stuff is come see us at a show. You can find us on our Instagram. You can find us on our Facebook. And that's the best way to hear from us and see what we're doing. And hopefully you guys can make it out. Hopefully you guys can see some wild stuff you've never seen before. You know, gravy slurping on tables and bass guitars like emitting fire and slugs and
Exploding cars. maybe?
Exactly.
Well, I think those are all the questions that I have, but thank you guys so much for being here today to talk about your album.
Yeah, thank you very
Thank you
much.
for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Awesome. And then we're just going to end the show here with Dark Matter of Fact from Swashbuckler's debut album titled Auditory Pleasure Pods to Satisfy Your Lust for Nihilism. Thanks again to Swashbuckler for joining us tonight on The Sound. More of their music can be found on various digital platforms, and more information on the band can be found on their Facebook page. For more deep dives into local and regional albums, tune into The Sound every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 89.5 KQAL. I'm Brylee Harris, and we've just heard from Swashbuckler tonight on The Sound.
Thanks for listening to The Sound. The Sound is produced by KQAL FM on the campus of Winona State University. Visit us online at kqal.org. Theme music for The Sound provided by Mike Terrell of Fires of Denmark.